are different and funny.
Nunchucks were brought in.
Yeah.
There are
Yes.
nunchucks?
There are nunchucks.
Is that a spell?
We use them very safely.
Aha, 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 aha.
They're going to blow your mind.
Shakespeare once said all the world's a stage, but he didn't tell us how to get there. This is Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Theater podcast. I'm your host, Colin Pinedo, and let's get the show going.
Thank you, places!
Folks at home, do you have a business, small or otherwise, that isn't pulling in traffic the way you want it to? Well, it might be because they don't have something to remember you by. And that's why today we are sponsored by Graphic Details Inc., signs and displays. They will print out your banners, they'll cut vinyl, they'll do window graphics for the company cars. We're talking business cards, banner stands, LCD displays, tabletop displays, logos, all in full living color. Again, that is Graphic Details Inc. here in Chino, California. Thank you so much.
Hello and welcome to Steps to the Stage, a community theater podcast where we take you through the community theater professionals that we know and love. I am your host, Colin Pinedo, and if you would like to introduce yourselves one by one, we can get started here.
Hi, I'm Becca Cisneros.
Hi, I'm Andrew Landeros.
And I'm Debbie Barbin.
And today we are talking about Puffs, is that correct?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, so walk me through, what is Puffs? I don't know if I know exactly what this show is.
Puffs is a fun, funny show about 7 years at a certain school that we've all know, loved, read books about, seen movies about, but it's told from the viewpoint of the House Puff and how they navigated through those years.
Okay. So like sort of like more on the comedy and more on the funny side.
Definitely on the parody side.
Okay,
absolutely.
like a parody musical, for sure. And then what are your roles in this show?
This is Debbie. I'm the director.
Andrew, I'm the co-director.
I'm Becca. I'm the student director.
All right. So what drew the three of you to this show as when, like, picking out what you're sort of working with? What drew you to Puffs?
Yeah, so a lot of the kids had mentioned this show before as something they wanted to do, and I am definitely a nerd when it comes to this particular set of stories. So I thought it would be really fun to do a nice smaller cast comedy that was something that the kids knew about and that we all knew about as well, and hope that we could entertain with it.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So for me, it was when I was doing Newsies. I always had an interest in directing, especially because I was going to age out of the theater, so I couldn't perform in the shows here anymore. So Debbie was very kind to say, hey, I'm doing a show, and I would love to have you on board. And I got the script, I read it, and as an actor myself, I love comedies. And I love to help other actors, like, find the comedy, find themselves in their characters. So that was a really interesting, like, concept. And I was like, I would love to help be on board and help them, like, find their acting styles, have them find the comedy, and also just become better actors. And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reading through the script, you'll see that character building is really important for this show, and that's something that really draws me. So I really enjoy assisting the actors with building character and looking through those monologues and looking through those lines and finding all the minute details. So that's what really draws me to this show.
Yeah. What are some characters that stick out to the three of you that you've sort of latched onto or sort of found a play that in sort of reading and working with that you sort of
Everybody plays multiple characters in this show.
Okay,
there are a lot of changes, a lot of quick costume changes and prop changes and things so that they can embody different characters in this story. And so to narrow it down or to pick somebody, I mean, there are just some standouts in terms of comedy. Leanne is just hilarious. She grew up with her grandparents in the forest, and she's never been around kids before. And pretty much everything that has to do with wizarding excites Leanne. And we've got a great actress that plays her, Carly Welsh, who has been in a lot of these shows before. And she just embodies everything Leanne and every movement that she makes and every word she speaks. I think that's probably one of the standouts for me. I don't know if either of you have a standout funny character, Becca.
I definitely have a standout. Cedric, who is mentioned in the books and the movies, really brought to life in this show, really played up as the cool guy, almost the protagonist for the Puffs in that sense. And the actor just really runs with it and all the funny, weird reactions that he could have.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric's probably the only one that we're familiar with that's a Puff, which kind of is why telling their story is intriguing, because he's really the only one we know. He's the total rock star to the Puffs.
Mm-hmm. Sort of the only like pre-existing character. Of
Exactly.
That. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So this is mostly, though it's based on
This book series,
an
yes, the
original book
Wizarding
series.
book series.
Yes. There are more original characters.
We see a lot of the professors, and we see Lord Voldy
Mm-hmm.
and Cedric, but the Puffs themselves are all original characters.
I see. If you need insurance, Vince will work for you. Vince Polito is a local farmer's insurance agent who wants to help you out. Auto, home, renters, and more, open 8 to 5 on all weekdays. Over 35 years experience and licensed in 4 states. Call now. And so it's a play?
Yes, play, non-musical, just a regular
I see.
comedic play.
Yes. Walking around the set, that looked fantastic. What is that?
So the set, is part common room, part castle, part everything else that happens in the story. It is the concept of our artistic director, Maya Timbokin, who also plays Megan, which is one of our leads in the show.
Done a lot here.
She has done a lot.
Yeah.
And she's really come into her art skills and set designing. She's done several sets now. And it's just beautiful. I love the set. We gave her very vague instructions when it came to the set. And that ended up being her concept. And it's just beautiful. I love it. I'm super happy with it. It's somewhat like the traditional set for this show, but in a completely new way.
Yeah,
So,
I like the look of it. Yeah, it looks
you.
really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the original book series takes place over many sort of different years, over many different adventures. Will this encapsulate all of that, or is it more of a?
Yeah.
It is.
Or is it?
Yes.
Oh yes. Okay.
It is all 7 years.
Okay.
So it
all right.
spans from 1991 to 1998.
Wow.
Yep.
Dang. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All in under 2 hours.
Dang. Yeah. Goodness. That's. So yeah, that is a lot.
So you have to remember that the Puffs didn't necessarily know everything that was going on the whole time.
If you don't do much,
So it's
then
from their standpoint. So there were some years they were very involved, and there were some years that we get through very quickly because it was focused on those other characters.
This is double cast in a sense where there are.
We have two narrators.
Okay.
Sure, we have two narrators, and then we partially through the show, some of our characters change. Some of them age.
Okay.
So we've got
But
that.
it more in the sense that you have multiple roles to a single performer.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Yes,
definitely.
I probably used that
Oh, okay.
term the wrong way.
Yes, they are
Yes.
cast as multiple
Yes,
characters.
yes, and that is how it's meant to be. That's like written in the
Yes.
in the text. Yes, okay.
The original off-Broadway production is 11 artists, and there's probably at least
Probably 5 characters
Yeah.
per person, and each person has their main character, and then they have one-off characters or sometimes reoccurring, like Harry.
So, talk about why you decided to keep that in as opposed to having it be like one per person, or why?
I think it challenges our actors a lot more to give them the opportunity to develop multiple characters, to switch characters quickly. Oftentimes they just have a prop change or a very simple costume accessory. Sometimes they have nothing. Sometimes they just switch characters solely based on their physicality and their voice. So I think it challenges them more. It gives them more opportunity to make some choices. And it's easier to manage in some ways as well. And so it was just important to us to kind of stay true to that multi-character that the original off-Broadway production had.
Yeah, sort of add to the chaos and the yeah.
Yes, the chaos. We have a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and like have things been you all had a bit of a knowing look when I brought that up. Have things been a little
And I think it bothers Becca more than it bothers the rest of us.
Okay. The chaos is controlled,
Mhm.
and I was recently, like right before this, I was making a table of
Mhm.
which character has to change to which character, what are the props, and what page it is. So I'm on I think it's page 30 now,
Mhm.
and I have
Okay.
about 50 changes already.
Wow.
So it's honestly incredible
Mhm.
how organized the actors are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really underrated, and I really hope the audience appreciates
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Who's your costume designer having to make all these different
Our costumers are Natalia Toher and Maya Mansour,
Okay.
and they're assisted by Brooklyn Artiaga,
Mhm.
whose sister's in the cast. Yeah, they've developed the base costumes, the personality costumes for each of the main characters, and then the rest it's a mix of the prop people and the costume people and the stage hands and us, just trying to develop what works best, and even the cast in deciding what they want to have for them to be able to portray their character. And some of them are just hilarious. Some of the things the cast has come up with are different and funny.
Nunchucks were brought in.
Yeah.
There are
Yes.
nunchucks.
There are
What?
nunchucks.
Is that a spell?
We use them very safely.
They're
They're gonna blow your mind.
You mentioned some of the comedy. Would you mind talking about working with the jokes in this show with
Yeah, so
the
there's
actors?
this show uses a variety of different comedy, from just, physical comedy to also just a lot of like smart comedy, witty comedy. And it's fun like trying to find the different ways to portray each and every one. Because the physical comedy, obviously, like, all right, like let's have like you go in slow motion here, or oh, you throw yourself here, or oh, let's do a trust fall here, stuff like that. And then it's also when you have to think about your lines. And especially because I always tell them, I'm like, all right, so like when you're going to do a comedy show, you don't want to play it to the audience like, oh, this is funny. Like you need to genuinely believe what you're saying, even if it's absurd. Because if you are genuine about it, then it's going to come across even more funny than before. So it's helping the actors understand in the scenes, all right, so this has to be very high stakes for you. For example, there is a scene where Wayne is put in an uncomfortable situation with a woman because he's never experienced this kind of thing before. And so it's just helping the actors feel in a safe way uncomfortable. All right, in that specific scenario. So finding choreography, finding little things that they do to help them get in touch with how uncomfortable the character's feeling in that moment. And when they finally feel it, it just comes across so genuine that you can't help but laugh. So it's finding those different moments and thinking also about like how you want to go about it, because there's different ways you can go about each and every scene, especially because there's just so much to work with.
Yeah.
So it's pulling ideas from the actors, or like reading the script and saying, okay, well, what if we said this line this way instead? Or if bringing in certain props, stuff like that. So it's so much different comedy, and it's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah.
Some of it, there are a lot of pop culture references in the show, almost all from the 90s, because this takes place in the 90s. And some of it because our actors are 12 to 19. Many of them weren't even born in this time period. So we've had to explain some of those references. There are some movie references. There's some pop culture references. There's some song references, things like that. So at first, they weren't getting it and it wasn't coming across funny. So have had to spend a little bit of time, little history lessons. So they explain, showing them some little YouTube clips or video clips of where these lines and these references come from. So they go, oh,
It's a period piece.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. So you two are the assistant directors for this show, yes, or student directors. Student directors. So sorry, but yeah, would you both of you mind talking about sort of your experiences in that position on this show?
Yeah. So when I came on, I wanted to focus a lot more on the acting aspect of everything, because, I don't have much. I don't know much what I'm doing about like staging, stuff like that. But I do know a lot about acting. I went to school for it, and I love helping other actors like learn how to act and like find themselves within like their certain characters. And this was just such a fun challenge, to like, especially because each actor's playing so many different roles. So you want to explain to them physicality, their character voices, just how they go about doing certain scenes. And so, like, coming on, like, I focus a lot on the acting aspect of it. And, especially, like, all the actors are coming from varieties of different backgrounds, experience in acting. So it's a challenge, but it's also so fun just to see them grow as actors. And also, like, I'm so full of, I'm so proud of each and every single one of them, because especially as we get closer to tech, like, you see them finally starting to have fun with everything, really come into their own as their characters, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch, and especially under the guidance of Debbie, and also I'm learning a lot from Becca as well. Like, they're both amazing to work with. I'm learning so much from each and every single one of them, and I'm growing a lot as a person as well because of them.
Yeah. I'm actually the same age or even younger from most of the actors. So I really look at this as a way to support all the actors and whatever they need. So I'll be backstage with their props and their costumes. And, I help them. I ask them what they need from us and if there's anything they're specifically struggling with, and like, are they confused about something? Or, most of them are new to the theater, so explaining like how we do things here. And I learn a lot from them. They give me new perspectives on acting because I act here too. I try to get them engaged, have a lot more fun in rehearsal because, it can be tedious sometimes. So we had a tournament, like an acting tournament, where we brought in some prizes and just some good friendly competition. And
That's fun.
sometimes I help out with some monologue work, which is always fun. But I think my main job is to support the cast and the directors and the crew whatever way I can.
If you need high-quality headshots or other professional photo work done, visit Xochi Photography at fb.me/xneriPhotos.
It's been great having both of them. They're young, and then they relate better to the actors than sometimes I can. And so they hype them up. They see things from their perspective because they've both been on stage so much. So it gives a whole new level and a layer to directing. So they have all these different perspectives from people who have done all different things in this industry, and so they do everything. I mean, Becca's selling herself short over there. She ran rehearsal for me the other night when we were working on costumes and things backstage. And Andrew jumps in and has new ideas and fresh ideas, and can really like get in there and move around with the actors and teach them those kinds of things. So it's been great.
Yeah.
Andrew should look into becoming a motivational speaker at this point. He just hypes them up so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes when you're doing a show over and over again, it can get tedious, and I don't want them to have that. When the show opens, like, you got to, especially when it's not a musical. Like, you don't have the songs, you don't have the dances to really bring the energy up of the audience. So it's all on them. So you want them to have as much fun as possible, because if they learn how to have fun on their audience is going to have fun with them.
Yeah. So would you mind talking about sort of the backstage and crew involvement with this production? A lot of it feels very tech heavy.
It is very.
I'm hearing about
When I pitched the show to the theater, I had no idea. I mean, I'd seen the off-Broadway, the filmed version of it, and I'd seen clips of it from other schools that had done it and places, and I had no idea the tech that went into the show. We were lucky. The Matt Cox, who wrote the show and did all the sound and sound effects for it, we're lucky enough that he licenses all of that, because had we also had to do sound on top of everything, I don't know that we'd still be sane at this point. But we're just now starting to set lighting. I'm guessing there are going to be 150 lighting cues in this little play. Sean Riley is our light designer, and Doug Rumbaugh is our tech director. They're doing great. We have We have fog. We have bubbles. We have puppets. We have a myriad of costume changes and prop changes. We've got Draco back there, Peyton Flowers working on our props, along with Maya, who has created some puppets and some amazing things. I don't know how they keep it all straight. We've got Tony, our stage manager, who's been at almost every rehearsal for this show and has been fabulous, and he helps direct too and works with our cast. He's done enough shows and been in the program long enough that he now sees different things and offers a lot of great input. And I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, Maya. I think I said already. Who have I forgotten?
Costumers.
Our costumes, which we talked about them, Natalia and the other Maya with a Y. And
Sound? Yeah.
sound, we have some great sound techs up there. There are a lot of sound cues as well. There's a little bit of underscore. There's music breaks. There's all kinds of things going on in this show. So our sound techs are amazing. And we're using the licensed sound from the original. So that has been super helpful as well.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be on, if you're in the booth in the show, you've got to be on top of your game because there are a lot of things going on from a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
All directions, things happening in all directions.
Yeah, it sounds very intense for all of you guys. Yeah.
We've lit the audience area so that they can be involved. They can feel like they're sitting in the Great Hall with our actors.
Yeah. Okay.
Extending the whole scene beyond the curtain of the stage and just hoping that works.
Yeah, I like the feel of that, like the Great Hall idea. I like that puts it together for me now, having seen it before. But it sounds like a fantastic show. Yeah. What are the run dates?
We open Friday, October 20th. We run through November 4th, weekends. We're down here at 7th Street Theater in downtown Chino. Tickets are $10 or $12, depending on if you're a senior, student, child, adult, which I feel is about the best deal in town in terms of any kind of entertainment. It's better than a movie. It's cheaper than a movie, and you get to see some amazing kids give their all on the stage.
Yeah. Puffs. Yeah. Well, goodbye. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In today's day and age, it's more important than ever to remain informed and present in your community, which is why today we would like to highlight the Chino Champion local newspaper. Make sure you keep up with all of Chino's great local events like festivals, meetups, and live performances, virtual or otherwise. The Chino Champion. Thanks for tuning in. Please, subscribe to Steps to the Stage on your favorite podcast platform, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. And scene.